So it's time to talk about my favourite TV shows of the last decade. I know I'm a bit late to this stuff, but at the same time I like to take my time to think about it and to actually sometimes re-watch the shows as well. Notably, I just did my favourite films of 2019. It's a bit longer, but I get through my top 10 really quickly in the first 6 to 8 minutes, but then I evaluate, I get through all of the 70 odd films I watched in the first 7 to 8 minutes, but then the rest of the video is me just kind of breaking down what I really liked about the top 10. So let's talk about my favorite TV shows of the decade from 2010 to 2019. I guess we'll start with honourable mentions and then we'll do my top 10. So our honourable mentions, we have Sense8. I think it was really creatively made. I wasn't always on board with it, but I still really liked it overall. Hate that it ended so quickly, but I still really liked it. Gravity Falls. It was a show I haven't watched since high school, but I would love to rewatch it. It was amazing to watch for I think it was just 2 seasons, again, so short-lived. But really creatively done, and a really great animated show for anyone to watch. The Haunting of Hill House, because I love Mike Flanagan. Watchmen, because I love David Lindelof, but I also thought it was a terrific one-off season of a show. So disappointed there's no second season coming out, probably ever, but at the same time, what I got was so amazing, I don't really mind. Barry, it would be on my top 10, but the first season has some weak moments, but the second season is terrific and totally worth watching. Vikings. I am yet to watch the pretty much the last 2 seasons. I've got the second last season, volume 2 of season 5, I think it is, on Blu-ray. Season 6 just finished airing in Australia, but I wasn't able to watch it. I usually wait for the Blu-ray because SBS is such shitty quality in terms of TV, so I just wait for the Blu-ray to come out, and then I'll end up finishing watching it. I'm happy that it's finally finished, but I'm yet to see how it's going to end. So, but overall, I still really like it. I think the 3rd season is probably its best. 3rd and 4th season, especially, yeah. Because they finally got the fight scenes right. Fargo, as well. I love the 1st season. I love the 2nd season. And I really like the 3rd season as well. I had no idea it had gotten kind of some bad reception from people, but I thought Carrie Coon was brilliant in it. I thought Ewan McGregor and Mary Elizabeth Winstead were fantastic. I don't know if I have it. I think they only released the 1st season on Blu-ray in Australia, but I think I have all 3 seasons on DVD somewhere, so over there. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be rewatching it anytime soon, but I still really like it, and I think it's really well done. And notably as well, Killing Eve. I actually finished watching that after writing this list. Still in my honorable mentions. Really good show. I'm so keen for the 3rd season. It is amazing. Now let's start my top 10. Now, there might be some shows that seem very strange and that you probably never heard about. It's because they're Australian. So let's get into it. We have, at number 10, Sean McCall's Mad as Hell. Now, this is a satirical, political news show, much like, The Daily Show and shit like that. And it is hilarious. It's always informative about politics, especially Australian politics, of course. I've always watched it since I was in early high school. It literally taught me the understanding of politics, even though it was through satire. So I've always had that kind of lens to politics since watching it. I never caught the first 2 seasons, but again, it's just the same kind of thing. Weekly they talk about what's happened the past week in terms of politics and global news and whatever, and they satirize it and whatever, and it's of course terrific and very, very funny. Number 9, The Leftovers. Another one of David Lindelof's shows. I didn't really watch much of Lost, so we won't talk about that. But I did really like The Leftovers. I'd always wanted to watch it, and then my mate was like, dude, you should watch it. It is terrific. And I've watched it, got it all on Blu-ray. I'm yet to rewatch it, but it is just terrific. Each season is really hard-hitting and really well done, and I kind of just wish that they'd done more of the daughter in the 2nd and 3rd season, because she just... her story arc is done in the 1st season, so they don't really need her, but she still shows up again, but I kind of wish, because I really like the actress. She's the one who's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the one who wants to sleep with Brad Pitt. Anyway. Next up we have, number 8, BoJack Horseman. You've noticed that I haven't given any of these an out of 10 rating, because it's really hard to. I don't want to anyway. I don't remember what happens in most of BoJack. I forgot the first season was terrible, but I haven't rewatched it. I've mostly just gone season by season since they've come out. But it's always been really entertaining and really cleverly written, and it's tackled some really interesting topics for like depression and stuff like that, and it's been very mature about it. The comedy is amazing. The animation is so creative, and I was sad to see it go, but I'm really happy about its existence, and I love it. It's a beautiful show. Number 7, Legion, a show that will never come out on Blu-ray in season 2 and season 3, which fucking sucks because it's such a beautifully shot and edited show, and I wish they'd bloody release the second and third season. And because of that, my mate Guy can't watch it because he's gonna wait. He wants to wait till the Blu-ray comes out, and it's never gonna happen. So unless you could stream it in HD, but like, I have the first season on Blu-ray. It is incredible. I am yet to rewatch it, but I wanted to rewatch it and then watch the second season and then watch the third and final season. But I can't rewatch any of it. I think I've got season 3 taped on my Foxtel player, but outside of that, it's like, yeah. But wholeheartedly a terrifically made show, and Nathan Hawley is really, really great as a showrunner. Number 6 is a 2-split tie for 2 shows that are practically the same, but are vastly different, but are also hilariously the same. It's The Catering Show and Get Crackin'. These are 2 other Australian shows by the same 2 people. Pretty much they started doing The Catering Show, which was like a bunch of 10-minute episodes, which are hilarious. I haven't seen most of the first season, but I've seen all of the second season. I have it all on DVD, and it is amazing. I wish they'd continue it. But they evolved into doing Get Crackin', which, if the catering show was 10-minute, like, oh, here's a how-to to make this food, but it's like a satire on those kind of shows, and it is fucking hilarious, like joke a minute type stuff. Hell, joke every 30 seconds. You got text on screen, that's a joke. You got what they're doing, that's a joke. You got what they're saying, that's a joke. The whole entire thing is a joke. It's amazing. Then there's Get Crackin', which is so busy. There are so many jokes, and you have to rewatch it so many times over and over, which is great. Get Crackin' is a 30-minute weekly show that I haven't watched the second season of now that I think about it, which sucks. Because I got like the first few episodes in, and then I just kind of forgot because it was on Foxtel and I started watching movies more. Fuck, my 100 movie list really screwed me over. That being said, Get Crackin' is amazing. It is brilliant, it is hilarious. It inspired me to do the morning show episode of The Mindless Show. It is so well done, and I would highly recommend it. I think you can watch all of The Catering Show on YouTube. I don't know if you can in other countries outside of Australia, but I know that you can in Australia, and it's definitely worth it. Then we have number 5, Fleabag. This one was a very recent entry because I watched it literally in the last few days of 2019, and I binged the first 2 seasons because very bingeable content. Thank you, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She is amazing. It is a hilarious show. It is wholeheartedly worth watching. And I'm not going to say anything further on it because it's just brilliant. Number 4. Oh, I can't wait for the final 2 seasons. Final season, second last season comes. The first episode comes out today, so that's annoying because I don't have Stan and I have to buy Stan to watch it. Fuck. Better Call Saul. I love it. It is amazing. It is such rich content, beautifully shot, beautifully acted, beautifully written and directed. Such an amazing, just masterpiece of a show. Especially if you contrast it to El Camino, which I still really like as a film. But in contrast, Better Call Saul steps all over it in terms of so many aspects. Not just because it's expanded into a TV show and stuff like that, but you can watch it without having watched the show that it's a prequel of, Breaking Bad. So, yeah. Number 3, we have Mr. Robot, another show which sadly ended in 2019 after 4 beautiful seasons. It is an expertly crafted show. Sam Esmail is a terrific writer and director, and I cannot wait to see what else he makes outside of Homecoming, which I have also seen. But yes, Mr. Robot is really some of the greatest TV show I've ever seen. And then probably the greatest TV show that has ever existed, which is in my number 2 slot. I don't know what that tells you. It should be my favorite, but it isn't, and I'm sorry about that. Breaking Bad, number 2. It is definitely a number one slot in everything, but my number one is just kind of uniquely a thing for myself. Breaking Bad is tremendous. As a show, it is amazing. As character study, as a narrative, everything. You know it's amazing. Of course it's amazing. I rewatched it on Blu-ray last year, and it is just incredibly done. And it is so propelling and so amazing, and I would, obviously recommend it. Who wouldn't? Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, some of the best TV shows. And last but not least, number one, my favourite TV show of the decade. What is it? Can you guess? Is there maybe a box set in here that can help me define it? Yeah, it's right here. It's Twin Peaks: The Return, or the limited event series, however you want to name it. I prefer The Return. I love Twin Peaks. It is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I only discovered it in this past decade, of course. I never grew up with it. I discovered it in, I think I started watching it a bit in high school, but skimmed most of it. My bad doing, of course. Ended up rewatching it in my first year of university, thanks to my tutor Kaz, who was a big fan of David Lynch films, and hence forth he has become my favourite director. And this show really means quite a lot to me. I love The Return so much. I love Twin Peaks. I love everything David Lynch. And I would wholeheartedly recommend it to anyone. Of course, I would recommend watching Twin Peaks from the pilot, the very first episode first, because it is a very strange show. And there's a lot of different aspects to kind of get your head around. It's not something like Breaking Bad where I think you can perfectly jump into it. But Twin Peaks is definitely something that I would recommend to a lot of people, but it's so hard to recommend because it's also it feels like a very niche show, which again, because David Lynch is such an auteur director, it's hard to always recommend his films or his TV shows. And I love Twin Peaks. Of course, if you were to watch it, just go in order of release. First season, second season, Fire Walk with Me, then The Missing Pieces, and then, of course, The Return. Simple as that, really. It is a very interesting show and has some great characters. And some really kooky stuff. Yeah. So that is my top 10 of the decade. What's your top 10? Feel free to comment down below. And check out my best of 2019 films. I don't think I'll do a favorite films of the decade. If I do, I've really got to think about it. So I guess we could wait and see how the views go for these two videos, but mostly I'm just going to really want to think about it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.